So today our notes are going to talk about writing equations of ellipses. In order to write the equation of ellipse, we need to know the center, we need to find our a squared and b squared, and we need to know which one is the major axis. Underneath you see the equations, both in standard form where I can read off the center. Notice that a squared is underneath a different variable. So the a squared, something that's not written here, is always greater than b squared. Very important because that's going to tell you which orientation this ellipse has. Keep in mind that this equation here can be written in a different order. It doesn't matter which one comes first. It's just important to keep track of where the bigger number is. And then you'll also see your equation for your foci. A couple of things to note that will help us. Don't forget some of the definitions and things we had written down on day one. The major axis has a length of 2a, the minor axis has a length of 2b, and the length or sum of the focal radii is 2a, and that's really coming from the definition of what an ellipse is. The foci and the vertices lie on the major axis, so you'll know that by wherever your larger number is. The covertices lie on the minor axis, you'll know that by seeing where the smaller number is, and then always the center is halfway between the foci, the vertices, and the covertices. So let's look at a couple examples. We're looking for an equation of an ellipse that's centered at the origin, so we know our h and k is 0, 0. The length of the major axis is 6. Okay, so based on what I set up above, the length of the major axis is 2a. So if 2a is equal to 6, we know a is equal to 3. And the y-intercepts are at plus or minus 2. So that just gives me 2 points on the curve. Notice I gave you the center. I know the a value, so I'll know a squared. I don't know the b value quite yet, although you might already know. I'm going to get it in picture in a minute. And I don't quite know the orientation either. So I am going to draw a quick sketch of this picture, just like I did with the circles and the parabolas. Not that it is mandatory, but it helps. So here is my center. I know my y-intercepts are at 0, 2, and 0, negative 2. So let's think about that for a minute. If my ellipse is passing through those points, I have a distance here of 2. And here is 2 as well. So keeping in mind that I also told you a is equal to 3, if the curve is passing through 2 and negative 2, those must be my covertices because that gives me a distance of 2, whereas I have a distance of the major axis of 3. So therefore, I can assume b is equal to 2, and I can draw the rest of my picture. Here would be my vertices. So these are covertices, and these ones out here are vertices. And now I have everything I need because I know what A is, I know what B is, and I know I'm centered at the origin. So since I'm centered at the origin, I'm going to start with that first. X minus 0 squared is just x squared over something, plus y minus 0 squared over something is just y squared. And for these, it doesn't specify, it just says find an equation. I don't specify here, so we're going to leave it in what we call standard form. No need to expand out. And so I just have to remember that I want my larger number where my vertices are, which is left and right. In this case, underneath the x, I need a squared. So 3 squared is 9. And then underneath where my covertices are is 2, up and down. So 2 squared is 4. And that would be our answer to our first example. Taking a look at our second example here, again, I'm going to draw some pictures to help. Negative 2, negative 6, negative 2, 4. Those are my vertices. And then my covertices, negative 5, negative 1, and 1, negative 1. So what I don't have here first is my center. So I'm going to go halfway between my vertices and my covertices. And I'm going to just do it by counting. I'm not going to do the midpoint formula, although you can to prove it. So my vertices are up and down a total distance of 10, which means I want to go halfway between that, which would be 5. So it's going to actually put me down 5 or up 5. And then double checking my covertices, that is a total distance of 6. So I want to go 3 in either direction, and I am 3 left and right. So my center is going to be at negative 2, negative 1. That is going to be my h and k. So I'm actually going to write that. X minus negative 2 becomes plus 2 squared over something, plus y minus negative 1, or y plus 1 squared over something is equal to 1. So A is going to be my larger distance. So we said a minute ago that was 5. So if A equals 5, then A squared is 25. And then my shorter distance, where my covertices are, that is 3. So B is equal to 3. Therefore, B squared is equal to 9. And our larger one is up and down. So we need to put the 25 under the y. And our shorter one, left and right, we need to put the 9 under the x. So notice it doesn't tell you the orientation, but just thinking through the picture and what's longer and what's shorter tells me that the larger one should be the y, the major axis. As I go down to number 3, now I'm giving you the foci and the sum of the focal radii centered at the origin. So first, let me just point out that this right here is what tells me it's an ellipse, because that is the definition of the ellipse itself. So I am centered at the origin, so there is my h and k, so I should actually be able to go right to x squared over something plus y squared over something is equal to 1. And then I'm going to take the rest of the information and get it on my graph. So my foci is plus or minus 3, 0. So I'm going 3 left and 3 right. Now keep in mind your foci always lie on your major axis. So that means x is my major axis. So I'm going to put a star underneath x because that's where my larger number should go. And then the definition, sum of the focal radii, that means 2a. And if 2a is equal to 8, a is then equal to 4, and of course a squared is then equal to 16. So I can go ahead and put 16 underneath my x. What I don't have this time is what b is, because remember the foci, that distance is actually your c value. But if you know a and you know c, which is 3, or c squared, which is 9, you can use that a squared minus b squared equals c squared to solve for b, or b squared. So a squared is 16, b squared is what I'm searching for, and c squared is 9. So in solving that, I'm going to go ahead and subtract 9 and add b squared. Oh, and I went to go take the square root of it, but there's no need to do. I actually want what b squared is, and that is 7. So I'm going to go ahead and just write that under the equation, and that would be our final answer. So sometimes you will have to calculate either the a squared or the b squared depending on what's given. Okay, last two. Center at 4, -3, the foci is 4, 1, and 4, -7, and the length of the major axis. So we looked at one like this already. That's 2a. Therefore, a is going to equal 6, or a squared is going to equal 36. I know the center as well, so I might as well go ahead and write that. X minus 4 squared over something plus y minus -3, so plus 3 squared over something is equal to 1. So thinking about my picture, here's my 4, -3, my center, and then I got 4, 1, which is a foci, and 4, -7, which is a foci. The foci lie on the major axis, so these are vertical, meaning now my larger number is going to be underneath my y instead of my x. So I know a squared, and because I'm giving you the foci again, I know that the c value is equal to 4. So a squared plus b squared is equal to c squared. And change that to minus. A squared minus b squared equals c squared. So a squared is my 36. B squared is what I'm searching for. And c squared is going to be 4 squared, or 16. Subtracting 16, adding b squared, I get b squared is equal to 20. So here's my a squared going underneath my vertical axis, 36, and b squared being 20. And there's our final answer as well. And then last but not least, the length of the minor axis, that is 2b. So therefore I am solving for b this time. So b is equal to 3, b squared is equal to 9. I don't give you the center, but we'll be able to find the center just by thinking of my picture. So I have a foci at 4, 2, and a foci at -6, 2, which tells me that I'm left and right, so I know my larger one is going to be underneath my x. And when I look at the total distance between the two foci, I get value of 10. So I'm going to go halfway, or 5, left and right from each of those points, putting me at the center of -1, 2. So this is my h and my k. So x plus h squared over something plus y minus 2 squared over something is equal to 1. And we said that this is my c, which is 5 units. Therefore, c squared equals 25. So finishing up, a squared minus b squared equals c squared. This time, I don't know what a squared is. So we'll be solving for a squared. I'll add 9 and get 16, or 34, I mean. And so that is going to be my larger number, which is left or right. So that's going to be under my x-axis. My smaller number, my b squared, which I already knew, was 9, underneath my y-axis, my minor axis. Okay, so those are the notes for today. The assignment that you need to do is 1, of course, make sure you've checked over your homework answers. 2, make sure you've copied down all of these notes so you can always rewind and go back if I went through too quickly. And then 3 is to complete the assignment that you see listed here. I did post what the other 2 graphs were in the assignment post, but I will rewrite them here again. Whether or not they're in the same order, doesn't matter, but these are the 2 that I would like you to make sure you include as part of your answer. So x plus 2 squared over 16 plus y squared over 8 is less than 1. And x equals -3 times the square root of 1 minus y squared. And don't forget, I've already PDF'd your entire chapter, so you can go back to the post at the top of your classwork stream to find those problems. So this video complete is the first part of your assignment, and the second part now, which is now due on Tuesday for you guys, is to complete this textbook assignment and graph these 2 ellipses.